right. Which one is it?
It's the little block. That's the one. This is the one.
Oh, that's got a block.
No, that's a block.
Which one?
It's right here. Pin Zack for you so that
Block. Oh, see.
it's this right here. That's the microphone.
Oh. Oh, this one doesn't have it. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Hey, Zach.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Yeah, we're good. Yeah. Well, you got everybody. Everybody's your fan now, huh? Hey, welcome to the Steve Davis Show. Special guest today, Zack Cole, head basketball coach at Cleveland High School, and also with a championship winner of last weekend. And what a great victory!
Yeah, thank you, Steve. Yeah, it was a great environment. Actually, that championship game. I just get excited when the high school kids get to play in front of crowds like that because you'll remember that forever.
Well, I'll tell you, you a team that you'll face probably you could place them 3 or 4, maybe 5 times, maybe, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you could two more in district, and maybe a district tournament, and then so four more times. I mean, that's but what's amazing is your district. You might play 4 teams 4 times too. I mean, that's how tough this district is.
Yeah, absolutely. And being in it is it's a great challenge. You can never let your guard down, and you're going against some of the best players in the state. You're going against some of the best coaches in the state, and it just keeps you on your toes. And I personally like that for our coaching staff, and I personally like that for our players. You can't have a bad game in our district, because if you do, you're going to get beat.
Well, just like basketball, there's games of runs, but right now you're on a 6-game winning streak, and your schedule doesn't get any easier though. You got a tough LaQueba team, and you go to Hobbs again. So.
Yeah, and then we get to start our district right after that. So yeah, no, we talked about it, with our players. We talked, as coaches, we talked. This is a tough stretch for us, a real important stretch for us to not only try to be the best versions of ourselves, but to be consistent. We've been preaching that to our guys. We got to be consistent, and they've taken ownership of that, and they've really made a conscious effort to be more consistent daily in practice, be more consistent, on the little things. And then we just been preaching the defensive side of the ball. We got some guys that can score, but we just needed to be more consistent on the defensive side of the ball. And I feel like they're buying into that.
Well, definitely it showed, and I didn't get to see the game on Saturday. I was at Highlands, but talking with Sebastian is that you guys came to play defense and played at a high level. But going into the week, I'll be honest, I truthfully didn't know that y'all were going to make it. I mean, not to win it. I thought truthfully it would be either Volcano or Rio Rancho, and that's why the games are played. And guys like me get to be proved wrong, and but I and a little bit of you and I discussed this I did the game previous to that game on that Friday night, and I I I didn't think you could win without Remy. Okay, and I guess he put a show on Saturday. So, but I mean, your role players or your other players have stepped up, and I think that's what surprised me. I mean, Rivera. I mean, I was so impressed with him
Yeah.
and Bowie. I mean, just those guys all did their roles and scored. So that's got to be rewarding for you.
Yeah, yeah. We worked hard on being more than just Remy, and other guys have come into their roles. And the game you did, we didn't even shoot the ball well against Sandia. Like,
That's true.
we're a
That's
much
very
better
true.
shooting team than that. We shot the ball poorly. We got the shots we want, so that's what I was happy with the coach. As a coach, we got the shots we always worked for. They just didn't go in, and Remy only had 4 points, but Remy had 10 rebounds that game, distributed as well, played really good D. Yeah, we're just becoming more than just a one man team, and really trying to focus on the defensive side of the ball. But we feel like shooting can be a strength of ours. Honestly, I know we didn't shoot well the semifinal, and even in the final, we didn't really shoot that well. But we just feel like we got a lot of kids that are capable of knocking down shots, as long as we share the basketball, which I feel like, we're sharing the ball probably better than we have since I've been here at Cleveland, honestly.
And you pointed out that Remy was he was on the bench too. I mean he got in
Yeah,
foul trouble
he did get in
and
foul trouble. Yeah,
and I tell you what, when I heard that score, I was I'm not a front runner guy. I have such great respect for you and your program and everything. But I will say this is after the game that Volcano won, Sebastian and I were talking, and I go, well, I just don't think that Cleveland can win. I didn't, and I was very, I said that, and then Sebastian made a great point. He goes, well, they might be, very excited about their victory. It may not be as focused, in coming in and think the same thing that everybody else is thinking. That and I don't think everybody's thought that way. I don't want to say that, because I'm a fan of yours and a fan of Cleveland's, and but anyway, I Sebastian said, what, they may be flat, and watch out for Zack Cole and his team. He's going to have them ready to play. So that's what happened. So.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We just, again, preaching being consistent, with what we're doing, being intentional with what we're doing, being consistent. You have to be consistent in our district, or else you're going to lose. It's just, you can't have a bad game, and really just avoiding. At the beginning of the year, we had a bad quarter versus La Cueva, like literally a bad quarter, and then the first time we played Las Cruces, we had a bad last 3 minutes to finish a game. So we had some hardships early in the season that just allowed us to watch a lot of film, refocus, get better. Put an emphasis on all the little things that are important to finishing games, and to beating good teams, because our schedule is so tough. And you're right, it's only going to get tougher as we get into district, but it's been tough. One of the toughest schedules in the state up to this point as well. We get to play La Cueva for a second time here on Thursday. We've already played Las Cruces twice. We've already played Volcano. We've already played Sandia. We've already played Highland. It's just something that we deal with here at Cleveland. We schedule the best because, the only way you can truly measure yourself is if you're going up against the best. And and challenging yourself, mentally and physically.
Well, against Las Cruces, you redeemed yourself. Okay,
Yeah.
that was my whole point. Is you said you didn't play the last 3 minutes or so of the game, didn't close it out, but you learned from it, and you beat them. And at that time, they were number one. And that right now, being number one is not very good, because everybody knocks somebody off. As soon as you're number one, somebody gets you. But I kind of looked at the polls, and you're in the top three, whatever, poll you look at, or, whatever week you're looking at. So, I think right now you're number one. So, going into La Cueva, and La Cueva was number one a couple of weeks ago. So, to me, what it really does is, and you said it gets the fans' interest. I mean, that there's going to be a good crowd on Thursday night to watch La Cueva, and it's got to be great for you to have those big crowds, because you've been up in Santa Fe, and you know how that that home court advantage is so great.
Yeah, it is. Up north, man, basketball's like religion. So, we're used to packed gyms and stuff like that, and coming here, and first few years here in the metro, crowds were a little smaller. Couldn't really feel much energy in the gym. That's why last Saturday was so special. It was a great crowd for a metro game against two really good teams. Went down to the wire. That's all you can ask for, man. I get excited. I grew up playing in gyms like that, so I get excited when our guys get to experience that, and I just get excited for the state in general when they get to see games like that. So. Yeah, hopefully Thursday will be a packed gym again, at La Cueva.
Well, you got, what, we're going to go to the Evergard top 10 plays of the week, and come back and talk more Cleveland basketball.
All right.
Pulled up the court. Santi Steven feeds Decker. Decker feeds the baskets. Steps up for the tie. He's got it. Dylan Lansing, 29 points.
Livingston Volcano to one shot, but then now the defense is picking up, and watch out. Showtime.
Boom! Goes David Lund.
Ended up losing by 1 or 2, I believe, at the end. But it was a packed gym that night to watch these Rams. On a lob upstairs, it's showtime early. It's Bynum to Richardson. To Brent. Wow! For three! Rips the cords! Said Sheezy. 11-12 games on their schedule. Not the Rams. Ahead of the pack to Moomin. Omer with a two-hand hammer!
That got the fans going right now.
Got Lund behind him, though, and David Lund steals it right back away. He's got Canonsburg in front of him, and David Lund with the hammer.
Last key. 1-2. Here it is.
Gotta get it up for the lead. Yeah. He's buried it! Christopher Justice from the Rams Athletic Center logo. Get through it. Marcos Chavez back into it and loses that ball. BJ Branzer tried to pass it. Oh, some Globetrotter stuff right there.
Richardson's man, let him go.
Here we go. Richardson
Working downhill, drives, gathers, scores! Oh, what a big-time bucket! One, it'll count if it goes, it's no good! And the Rio Rancho Rams win it on a Caden Richardson layup.
We're 8-0, we're only 8 games in, and this team's gonna get better. That's the fun part.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
Well, Zach, for the 5th time in 10 years, the Cleveland Storm are the Metro champions, and it took a hell of an effort from Remy and from the defense. So talk about that.
Yeah, we've just been really locked in on the defensive side of the ball, and a big part of that is rebounding. You can't finish a defensive possession without getting a rebound because you're not always going to get steals and things like that. So we've just been really focused on that the last few weeks in practice, and it just carried over into the Metro. We weren't shooting the ball well tonight. We had some good looks in the first half. Weren't shooting the ball well, but really what kind of the turning point of the game is they only scored 4 points in that second quarter. Volcano did. So, again, we just relied on our defense when our shots weren't falling. And then in the second half, it started to drop a little bit. So,
you talked about it, but Coach Brown doesn't lose a lot of these low-scoring, defensive, ugly, grinded out games, right? So you got to be incredibly proud of your guys.
So proud of our guys, man. We've been talking to them this whole time. We score a lot of points when we can, but we can also slow down and play a half-court game if we have to. We're built for it. Our guard play, in my opinion, is the best in the state. So you can control a game when it's a low-scoring, defensive battle. Got to play in the half-court. Got to possess the basketball. Got to get to the free throw line. Got to make free throws. I just feel like we're built to play different ways, and I think we showcased that this tournament. And I'm just really proud of the boys for locking into that.
Hey, look, you're really building a resume here, Zach. First, a home win against Las Cruces when they were number 1 at the time. Now a Metro title against Volcano. And there's no, you got La Cueva and Hobbs coming right out of this. There is a good possibility if you guys pick up those 2 W's, you could be heading into district play as the number 1 team in New Mexico.
Yeah, that has a good ring to it, but which we'll take. Obviously, we got 2 tough games on the road this week, but that's Cleveland, man. We play the toughest schedule year in and year out. We're up there, we're one of the toughest schedules, if not the toughest schedule, and because we have to, because it gets us ready for our district. Our district is hands down the toughest district in the state. And we do, although we will take that number 1 spot, if it comes our way, we're not going to turn it down. But we know the most important part of the season is district games. So we beat Volcano here, but it's more important to beat them in district. So
yeah, you guys will get to know each other well this year.
Oh yeah, we're going to know each other really
Congratulations.
well. Yeah. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Well, what were your thoughts? That was a great interview by Sebastian. And you made him look good. I want to thank you for making him do it. So I mean, I want to thank him for he got nominated for Broadcaster of the Year, and it was well deserved. And then actually you had Adam Dill there, and he won the Broadcaster of the Year. So man, when like I said, when the big game comes, everybody shows up. I didn't make it, so I let you down. I am going to be there Thursday though. I'm not going to go to the Hope tournament and Scott Gleddy. So you're going to have 3 broadcasters of the year doing your games all in 1 week. So that's pretty amazing.
That you're making us feel important. You're making us feel important.
I got pressure on you and your team though. You just can't lose, and then because if you lose, then you lose out on everybody giving you a lot of attention. No. I mean, truthfully. Watching, you brought up your district, and let's talk about it. I mean, I think Volcano speaks for itself. That you got 4 state championships, and you may have this answer for me. I hate putting you on the spot, but out of y'all's state championship kind of goes through y'all's district. If you go back to Trisco Heritage, and I was trying to figure out when's the last time another team not out of your district won the state champ. It was Las Cruces, I guess.
Las Cruces, yeah, I was gonna say Las Cruces, yeah, probably.
But that was 1 year. I mean, I'm just thinking about, you look at, okay, 9 out of the last 10. I didn't know if you knew that or not. So,
No, I didn't. So whoever's
I
getting
want to thank Aaron for helping me out. But 9 out of the last 10 years, it's state championship goes through your district. So when you do say that, it's, you know, the record speaks for itself. I mean, it's
no, yeah. I mean, our district, I mean, even going back to when Atrisco was in it, it's always been the toughest district in the state. You know, we when I was up in Santa Fe, actually, we would always try to schedule games with teams from this district because we felt like that's a true measuring stick game, just to get to know where you were. So we actually always scheduled Cleveland every year. We had a nice agreement with them. We played Rio Rancho every year as well. And then we played Atrisco a couple times as well when I was up in Santa Fe, just because everyone respects this district. You know, it is what it is. That's why I feel like one of the criteria points for the state selection committee to have district finish be a criteria point. I don't think that's quite fair. Honestly, that's one criteria point that I feel like they should discuss, because not every district is created equally in that sense to utilize that as a criteria point. But hey, that's not for me. You know, that's for the committee to discuss. So, you know, our district, we just know if you can battle in our district, you can battle with anybody, basically.
Well, let's just go through that. I mean, that's a great point. I didn't even think about that. You know, just in your district right now, and I'm, you know, looking at the coaches' polls, and basically four of the teams are in the top 10, and that's yourself, Rio Rancho, Volcano, and also Farmington, and Cibola receiving votes.
Yeah.
All right. So
and Siegel is battling through some injuries right now. You know, they're going to be a different team now, in my opinion. Come district, you know. So you still got to have a lot of respect for Cibola, because Coach Martinez does a great job. They got a great player, a few great players, honestly, and then they're going to get healthy at the right time. So got a lot to worry about in our district.
Well, right now is every game is important. I mean, even this week, if you think about it, I mean, you have a chance to redeem yourself against La Cueva, and then you go down to Hobbs, and Hobbs will be healthy probably. I believe he'll be healthy by then, so it'll be a different team that came to the Metro tournament. So for me, they're a hard team to judge, because I haven't seen them healthy. You've seen them healthy, and
Hobbs is one of the toughest places to play. Honestly, they have such a great environment there.
Well, I told you at the intermission about, you know, my Hobbs story, but it's, you know, because here's what you're battling. Okay. So, you know, I used to do, you know, I was a coach at San Diego. So my assignment was to go down to Hobbs and Clovis. They had the Clovis Hobbs tournament, and I would go down and stay one day at Hobbs, and then the next day at Clovis, and then come back to practice, and go to Hobbs, and it was an afternoon game, and I'm sitting up in the stands just enjoying myself, and out of the corner of my eye, I see, you know, 4 people coming right at me, and I'm kind of looking, and like I said, there's only like 100 people in the gym, and it sees like, you know, 2,500, 3,000 people in this gym, and I'm just minding my own business, and they just keep walking up to me, and they said, "Hey, sir, can you move? Can you move from your seat?" And I says, "Yeah, I'll be glad to move your seat, but, you know, there's nobody in this gym. You know, I mean, I go, is it because I'm from Clovis, New Mexico? I mean, are you just picking on me? You know?" And they said, "Well, it's kind of a tradition. You know, we've had these season tickets for 50 years, and so every time we come to the game, we always sit in our seats." And I said, "Well, that's you know, but, you know, if you've been in the gym, you look up there, they got that 6th man, and then they make you run. They make you run from the end zone. You know, you sit in the end zone, and they make your players run across there, and it's pretty intimidating."
Yeah, it definitely is. it's something that we're going to enjoy. We love to play places where basketball's, valued, and Hobbs is definitely one of those places. It's just a great experience. So
And then you were talking about another one of your teams is Rio Rancho, a surprise. I mean, they were a surprise to me. Okay, and I kind of picked up on them. I picked up with you on the Metro tournament. I picked up with them on the Rio Rancho tournament. And talking with Bynum, the assistant coach, he says, yeah, people might know who we are after this tournament. And all of a sudden, they jump up to number one, and then Volcano comes back and beats them that night. But they're a good team. I mean, I'm just,
absolutely.
And if you'll speak on Farmington, Coach, I just know they have a great coach, and I know it's a hard place to play. But speak on that team. I haven't seen them play, so.
Yeah, year in and year out, Farmington they lose key players. But I just feel like Coach Chitty, he does an amazing job with those guys, and they just every time you play them, they play hard, they play smart, and every player knows their role. And even when you scout them, you're like, well, so and so, he does this, and that's it. Like that's what he's trying to do. And you go through the list, and after you scout, do player evals and stuff, everybody just knows their role. Everybody just does their job, and then they always have a good go-to player, a good player to go to, and they had that again this year. Coach Chitty does a great job with them, man. I'm glad he's a part of our district. He's a great guy, and a really, really good basketball coach.
Well, I have a great story with him, or not a great story, another funny. It actually happened during the Rio Rancho tournament, so. I'm trying to get back in shape, so Rio Rancho has that upstairs, and you can walk all the way around. So we did 4 games, and I was walking around, and I was going one direction, and there was a guy named, and I want to say his name was Curry, okay, and he's the father of the trainer at Rio Rancho, okay, and he was sitting down with his son during the game, and anyway, he's walking one direction, I'm walking the other direction, and he saw me announcing, and basically he said, well, do you mind if I walk with you? And I said, sure. He said, I'm trying to get my steps in. And anyway, he was talking about Coach Chitty and about, how great of a coach, and told me about his background. But it's amazing how you coaches, you just never know how many people follow who you are and know your whole background. It's kind of one of those things, as a coach, you always tell the players, you just never know who's watching you. You always, make sure you make good judgment decisions. But it was so enjoyable to actually walk around and actually talk about a coach in your district. So it was a great story. So
no. And Coach Chitty's been down here a lot. I've seen him at every tournament scouting us out. So.
Yeah, he actually talked to him before the game, and I couldn't remember. It was funny. I couldn't remember. And Sebastian would go, yeah, we've been hearing good things about you. I go, I can't believe we're hearing good things about a Farmington coach. His personality and stuff like that. So it was very refreshing, and it was great that I got the. For one, somebody wanted to walk with me. That was the first. I've been walking for all these years, and somebody actually wanted to walk and listen to my stories about how ProView got started and how many games we've done and all that. But now let's get back to basketball. Get back to your program. And I agree. You guys are in the toughest district. Okay. Day in, day night. I mean, you got every game, and we can't forget about Forrest Becker, and is at Pedro Vista. I mean, he's upcoming. You got to be prepared for him. I mean, maybe not have the best record, but basketball IQ and knowledge. He's as good as he's as good as anybody. But
absolutely, yeah.
And I guess that's y'all might have some of the top coaches too. I mean, if you really think about it, I mean, Reddy speaks for himself, and you speak for yourself, and it's just everybody, Brown's like a legend already. So
Yeah.
But-
We know we do. We have great coaches, and that's the other thing about our district. Right when you feel like you figured out that team, second time comes around, second round of district comes, and coaches make adjustments. They're really good, man. They pay attention to the details, and you really got to be on your toes, because if you don't work on stuff ahead of time and you want to just try to do things in game on the fly, you're going to get caught off guard. So, coaching, having all the coaches that are in our district, really makes our district tougher.
No, the biggest thing, and I see it, is your district, your coaches, you guys have great respect for each other, and there's a little camaraderie. I mean, you talk before the games and you're laughing, you're cordial, but when the game starts, it's a different, it's all business. But it's great to see that there's, I don't know if there's the word jealousy or anything, but it's great to see that every coach knows that if they don't come with their best performance, they're not going to come out with a win.
No, our district does a great job of that. Everybody gets along, everybody communicates, everybody has respect for each other. It's hard to not respect a guy, or people that are in your profession, because honestly, our profession is so underappreciated nowadays. With just so many other options out there for teenage kids, not just basketball, a lot of sports. They go underappreciated, and so to have quality coaches that are doing what you're doing, going through the same grind that you're going through, you have to show them respect. That's just kind of my approach to it.
Well, I'll tell you, this show's coming in, but hey, you have my respect. I mean, I appreciate your, and it's every coach in the district. Okay, it's just not you and all them. It's just you guys really, you take a little time and talk to. Most time we don't even talk about basketball, but it's just fun to see you guys, and it's hard. From my standpoint, sometimes it's just hard to see one of you guys lose. I mean, when y'all are playing each other, it's just all I want to see is games like I've been seeing, is a real close game, and see who makes the right decisions at the right of the deal. But hey, I want to thank you for coming on the Steve Davis Show, and good luck this week. You got a tough one.
Yeah, thank you, Steve. Appreciate you guys, man. Appreciate everything you guys do for high school athletics. Tell Sebastian hi for me, man.
I will. I sure will. Thanks.
All right.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Fine.